and welcome to another edition of Brownsville As Is with
A for Achana.
S for Sonia. I'm excited where we're at today because, Achana, this building has so much history.
Oh my goodness, so much history. There's such a great story that has led us today to the Dunbar Carver Museum. And Miss Carrie Parker is definitely going to share some other great stories that you and I may not be aware of and give us a little bit of enlightenment on what's here at Dunbar Carver Museum.
Let's go see her.
All right, y'all come on.
Dunbar School started in the 1800s. The school changed names 3 times. First it was Dunbar, which was named after a Baptist minister, and it sat on Estelano Road, which was now Jefferson Street. The school changed names 3 times. Haywood County Training School came about because the community got together and decided to change the school name to Haywood County Training. Well, the community got together later on and decided to name the school Carver High School, which is named after George Washington Carver, which is was a scientist and a botanist at that time. And it remained Carver High School until 1970. The doors closed due to defect. At one time, Carver High School was the largest county school in Tennessee because the students didn't go into place else. We had country schools, they call them rural schools, in every community. And they only had gone to the 8th grade. And once the students finished 8th grade, they were transported into Carver High School to complete the 4 years of high school. At one time, Carver High School is, for lack of a better word, was bursting at the seams. There were over 1,600 kids in this building, housed from 1st grade through 12th grade. And when the students expand, of course, when it first started, there weren't any buses. You either walked the distance to school or you boarded in town and went home on the weekend, came back on Sunday afternoon, repeat the cycle at that time. But as the student population began to increase, they added 2 custodians, a cafeteria, a gymnasium, and 8 classrooms were added, as well as some more teachers to accommodate. It was so many students in this building. I remember I had a shorthand class on the stage. And the museum came about because of, we had reunions every 2 years. Some alumni, the former alumni got together and said, well, let's do a reunion. And the museum came about and said, well, let's collect artifacts. And this museum opened in 2007. And from then we added the Clay Evans room, and we are in the museum here, and we have a lot of artifacts. We have the picture of the first school, Dunbar, with the clipboard building. We have a picture of actually 2 diplomas that were earned in Dunbar School in the 1800s. Some of the pictures here, we have pictures of the former alumni that have graduated and gone on to do great things. Reverend Clay Evans is one of those people that graduated in 1945. And we have all kinds of success stories. Entrepreneurs, musicians, doctors, lawyers, authors, you name it. They came through this building during that time period. And we have pictures and artifacts and a profile on some of those students. And we also put together a replica. Now I mentioned before that each community had a 1-room or 2-room school. And we did put together a little 1-room school. How it looked in those days. They had the pot-belly stove and the desk, and we even got a math book from one of the schools that existed. It was Willis School, I believe, in Stanton. We have a math book. When the people come in, what we want them to take away is how it was then and how we improved over the years. And although we were separated or didn't have the right facilities, we still persevered. We still came through. Some of the students came through this building and went on to do be very successful in spite of. Most of the students that came to this building they came from a sharecropping family. Didn't have a lot. 99.5% of the students that came through did go on to do great things in spite of. The class pictures, these are the original pictures They were taken by Mr. Mason out of Memphis, Tennessee. Took all the class pictures, put them together on a numerical timeline. We have 37, 41, 42, 43, so forth and so on, to 60 all the way around to 1970. This building is on the National Register because Jefferson Street at one time was like a Black Wall Street. All of your African American, business was on Jefferson. As a matter of fact, we have a board or a display board with all of the businesses that was on Jefferson Street at that time, on this side of town. So Jefferson Street is not just a name, it was like a Black Wall Street. Reverend Clay Evans was a graduate of 1945, and he went on to Chicago, and he was from the Woodlawn community, and was east of Brownsville here, and he went on to Chicago to become a renowned minister. And we dedicated Clay Evans' room in 2015. So he donated a robe and is displayed in the Clay Evans room. And we built from there. He had a lot of artifacts and awards, and we got them. As a matter of fact, he got the pulpit from one of his first churches. I think Reverend Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King spoke from that pulpit, and we have it displayed in the Clay Evans room. So we are proud of our alumni. There was a time when we was prepared to be educated. This spot, Carver High School, was a symbol of hope in the African American community when we couldn't go anyplace else but Carver. This is what this facility stood for at that time. I remember getting discarded books from the White High School, but one thing for sure, the back may have been torn off a math book, but 1 + 1 is 2. THE is the. And we were taught from those discarded books. But in spite of that, in spite of all of that, we had people, students to come through Carver High School, went on to do great things. And we have display boards, some of those people. Carver High School, it was a facility of hope in the African American community. So when I come by this campus, I can appreciate where I came from because this is my foundation. I had a tough English teacher, Miss Geneva Miller. She was a no-nonsense person. I mean, you didn't cut up. I mean, you learned the else. So when I went away to college and started writing is the college foundation, of course. And when I would hear her echo in my ear how to write, and you know how to put a sentence together. I mean, she was no stick, but no nonsense. So when I passed this campus, I just remember my teachers. I would remember how successful some of the students were that came through Carver High School. And I can just have fond memories. The Dunbar Carver Museum is located at 709 Jefferson Street in Brownsville, Tennessee. Our hours of operation is Monday through Friday from 10 to 2:30 p.m. On Saturday and Sunday by appointments only. We accept donations. There is no admission to the museum, but we do accept donations.
Well, Sonia, what a day.
Tremendous amount of history here.
Yes.
To think about what the African American community had to go through. Mm-hmm. But look at all the stars that came out of Carver High School and are making such accomplishments in the world even today.
That's it. Such a rich heritage, a wonderful story, and I want to share that. My family attended school, my mom, my dad, my granddad. So this place has a significant place in my heart as well. And you know what, Sonia? Miss Carrie Parker shared so much history and shared a wonderful story that led to the Dunbar Carver Museum. Mm-hmm. It's been a good day.
It has.
It has been. All right, until next time.
Until next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.